Good morning. It's Thursday. It's 9 a.m. And it's been a while. Saturday, I think I did a vlog. I might have, yeah, I don't think I've done a vlog since Saturday. Um, not really sure what happened Sunday. Can't remember. On Monday, I had a rheumatology appointment at 10 a.m., 10:15. Um, and it's obligatory to wear a mask in the with my rheumatologist. So she had a mask on, I had a mask on. I struggle with her anyway in terms of she talks to me as if I know what she's talking about. Um, I think it's because I give her a written summary of my last 6 months in French using DeepL. So I use a translator. So it all looks very good. And I say to her every time, I've used a translator, she thinks I understand. So she rattled on. I mean, the appointments are quick. She's busy. But with her mask on, I couldn't lip read, and lip reading is important to me in terms of it's part of how I understand what people are saying to me. Is even in English, I lip read and listen. So I came away from there with the same treatment as I've been having. I'm a lot better now than I was in terms of pain. The winter, I don't know whether it was winter or something else, but actually, I'm a lot better apart from feeling tired, getting fatigued really quickly. So we've come away agreeing that we'll continue with my treatment, and she says it's your journey, your choice. So I have said that I will try and reduce my steroids this time, um, because we're not going away. So if if um, if that's a bit of a struggle, that's okay because I'm not going anywhere. There's always some reason why I can't. Mark's knee, we're going away. Um, so came away from there, and later on in the day got quite reflective and thought, actually, my life is becoming more and more confined because of my fatigue, and I'm not doing some of the stuff that I would have done before. I'm not able to walk very far without becoming fatigued. Some days it's a push to get right down to the chickens and back. And I just thought, and this is it. I said to Mark on the way there, we've been doing this journey twice a year for 9 years. It'll be November, 9 years, and I just got quite reflective and felt quite down that she confirmed that I have got rheumatoid arthritis in my feet and in my toes and in my ankles, which explains the swollen ankle. And I just thought I I didn't see. When we go away in September, I want to be able to do stuff. I want to feel that we can enjoy it and go. We're going to go to the southwest. We're going to visit Anita, but we'll be back in Bideford and but Westward Ho and Torrington. Where we used to live, and I want to go and have a look round and feel able to do that. So I felt a bit down really in the afternoon, and I was talking to Joe on WhatsApp, and she was. It's not like Joe. Sorry, Joe, but this isn't you. Um, we were talking about her dad. Her dad's not well, and her dad had a fall, and we were talking about that. And then she said, "You okay?" And I went, "Oh no." I said to her, "You okay?" She said, "Yes." And I went, and she said, "You okay?" And I went, "Not really." And told her that I'd had my appointment in the morning, and she said, like a therapist, she said, "What's different about your appointment this morning?" Which was a bit shocking coming from Joe. Um, but it made me think, and I talked it through with her and realised that I think that there had been talk in winter in November's appointment of maybe thinking about a different treatment, the treatment that people talk about called biologic, um, which is a different type of drug. And I haven't looked into it. I think I've not wanted to. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Um, so Joe said to me, wasn't she offered you biologics because her dad's been on biologics? Hasn't she offered you biologics? And I went, well, she did this winter. I don't know. I think she might have done this time, but I'm not really sure. And if she did, I think I declined. That's how difficult it is in the appointment. So I think I declined, and thinking about the letter she writes, because she writes a letter to my doctor in front of me, dictates it in front of me, although I wasn't there because I had to go to the loo. Um, and I think that she says to him that I'm wanting to stay on the treatment I'm on. So I think I declined. So the outcome of my conversation with Jo is that I'm going to ask her, my consultant, for another appointment because actually I think I do want to change my treatment. I want to improve my quality of life. And I looked on GBD and asked them, the difference between methotrexate and biologics, in terms of treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. Um, and in combination, it does a lot, a good 20 or 30% better outcomes than I can expect on my treatment at the moment. And I'm thinking, that's ridiculous. I really want that. I want to feel well, and I want to feel that I can walk again and we can go for a walk. I hold Mark back, I think. We both need each other to mobilize ourselves. I mean, he's mobile around the house and he's mobile in the garden. He was out strimming yesterday. He does all of that, but he's not walking, and he used to walk. And I think I hold him back because I'm not walking, because it's nice to walk together. So that's what I want to do. So I've written to her. I'm hoping she'll receive that today. I posted it on Tuesday, and yeah. So yeah, I was quite surprised to find myself in that position, because I just normally go on, have my appointment, come away, carry on with the treatment, have my appointment, and it's just normally, like a repetition. But this time I thought, I want more than this. I don't want to be so restricted to, I do quite, I do quite a lot of moving in the house and out of the house, but in the confines of our house and our land, down to the chickens, um, la la la, in and out of the kitchen, in and out, picking up food from somewhere to put it somewhere else and make food. And but I'm farming a lot, so I'm sitting a lot, and this isn't really the life that I want. Well, I love this life, but I would like it to be. It feels like it's narrower than it used to be, and I'd like it to have more in it. Um, we bumped into some people on Tuesday. Went to pick up my drugs, and we bumped into some people on Tuesday that we've not seen for a long time, and sat and had a drink with them in the square. And I just found it really difficult because one of the people that we were with, just wouldn't speak, was speaking very loudly in English, as English people tend to do. And Mark and I don't do that. Mark and I are quite quiet when we're out, and not drawing attention to ourselves, and certainly not being very loud in English. And I was just so embarrassed. I won't say any more than that because I don't know, somebody they know might be watching, but I just found it really embarrassing to be having attention drawn to us in the square. Um, yeah. So yesterday Rob came. Rob Smith IT. He's my Tame IT man, and he came after lunch. We got up at 9 o'clock thinking he was coming in the morning because I hadn't checked with him. So we were sort of hanging around. I hate days where you're hanging around for people to turn up. He came after lunch, and he has. No wonder we couldn't connect to the internet. The password I thought was the password is not the password. The password is about 15 letters and numbers. Absolutely stupid, and you can't change it. You used to be able to change it, because I said to him, you will change that for me, Rob, won't you? And he went, I can't. You can't change it now. So we've got, it's like when we get house sitters come, they can have a bit of a shock when they go, what's your password? because it's going to be, yeah, the big banner. Here's your password. Um, Luckily, if you're on the phone, if you're using a phone, you can go up to our router, and you can bring up a QR code and just do that. But I couldn't carry the PlayStation to do that. It wouldn't, work like that. Anyway, that's connected to the internet, so I did a big download, upware, soft load. Um, it was gonna, what was it? It updated the PS5, and that took about 3/4 of an hour, and then it updated the game that was going to take 3 hours. It actually took two. So everything's up to date, and we can now access Netflix, which was important. Although Mark says that he has browsed in the past on Netflix and felt like it reminds him of browsing in blockbusters on a Friday night, and there's just so much on there and none of it appeals. I find Netflix quite unappealing in a way, because there's a lot of American stuff on there. There's a lot of the Downton Abbey type stuff that I'm not interested in watching. And I think I probably mentioned in a previous vlog about my how I really don't like dramas where the wardrobe mistress, master, have just bought stuff, haven't made stuff, haven't made it look authentic. It looks like everybody's first day at school. They've all got brand new clothes on, and even the people that, poor people in these dramas, in historical fiction dramas, really poor people who would have had one set of clothing if they were lucky, that they just had to wear all the time. They just don't represent that. It doesn't reflect that, and I can't. I'm not willing to go beyond that. And I also, I'm just an irritating person, really. um I see continuity problems. I can't not see them, and I sort of think, that wasn't there a minute ago, that wasn't, and I can't not see it, so I get irritated with stuff like that. So anyway, I'm sure we'll find stuff. There's I've seen it, the two popes on there, which we'll probably watch, because Mark hasn't seen it. Conclave is still not on there. It's on Prime apparently, but I've boycotted Amazon and Prime. I have bought some stuff off Amazon, but very little. Trying hard to boycott it. Yeah. So that was yesterday afternoon, and then we knew that I'd asked Ludo to come and shear Ida, and he was coming. He said that he'd come yesterday evening. Well, at the end of his working day. So there's a bit of a tension of thinking about, how are we going to trap Ida? Where are we going to trap her? How are we going to lure her into a false sense of security? And what I ended up doing, Mark was out strimming, and he strimmed down in the chicken run, thinking we'd trap her in there. But actually, I opened the gate into the small garden here at the back, and they don't normally come in. She comes in, she has access to that during the night, but they don't have access during the day because the chickens come and crap on the terrace. But I opened the gate and let them all wander in, and they all wandered in, and about half an hour later I chucked out bits of old bread for them. And then I sort of wandered over and closed the gate. So she then became enclosed in there, and it's still quite a big area. So when Ludo came, she was watching, because he didn't realise he'd come in the metal gates on the big garden side, and he'd driven down towards the chicken sheds, thinking that's where she'd be, and she wasn't. So then he came up, but she was watching through the fence, and then she went and laid down. She was like this. It was odd. You know how dogs sit with their heads on their paws? Well, she obviously didn't have a head on her paws, but she was in that low, I think she was trying to hide, very low position, watching as he was setting himself up with his shearing equipment. And then she got up and moved away, and then it was time to catch her, and I got injured. I've got a big bruise down my shin where I got in her way and she stamped as she was trying to get away with her. I'm lucky she didn't draw blood with her little hooves. Um, but I managed to stop her the second time. She was behind that big pile of logs that are by the new fence, because I got a big stick out of there and held it. I think she barged into that and she ended up with a bloody nose. I ended up, with my bruises. But we caught her. She looks a mess. I always forget how much like a goat she looks when she's been shorn. I will show you at some point, but she is scruffy, and I can see that she's aging, which is really sad. I mean, I knew she was aging, but it's more apparent this time for some reason. So she would have had a cold night. It wasn't a cold night, but obviously, having lost her coat, she would have felt cold overnight. So when I went down to let the chickens out earlier, she was standing in the sun, and it's going to be really warm today, and she'll gradually acclimatise. So it's felt busy. It's felt. Yesterday we were both knackered. He was knackered because he did a lot of strimming, and that's a lot of wandering around and balancing. And he says that his since his knees, he's always really sure-footed, and he said, I don't feel as sure-footed as I used to, which is a shame because he's the only one in the house that's sure-footed. But um yeah, so he was a bit, we were both shattered enough that because I'd done more up and down, round and round, backwards and forwards yesterday, and also the tension of waiting for people, and are we going to capture Ida and all of that. um so there's a little bit of last night's supper still sitting out that hasn't been cleared up, and I don't care. I just couldn't last night. I looked at it and thought, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever, tough. um so yeah, did I cooked that, I don't know what night that was. I made the Singapore chicken. It was really nice. I may be repeating myself. It was really nice. Had it with, followed the recipe, which I think I shared. Sorry if I didn't. It was recipe 30, Joel, Joel, and it was Singapore chicken with rice, and really nice. And there we are, legs left. I've never done poached chicken before. It's something I'll think about again because it's really easy. You put the chicken in with all the seasonings that you're going to use. This had got estragon, tarragon in it because I hadn't got padana leaves, and I'd put a small bit of red onion in it because I hadn't got spring onion, and salt and pepper, and just cover it with water. So bring the water up to the, to the inner pot. Bring the water up over the chicken. Bring it to the boil. Turn it off. Leave it to cool down for 30 minutes. Bring it up to simmer again. Then leave it to cool for 30 minutes. Then take it out of the water and leave it covered for 30 minutes to keep it warm. And then do what you want with it. So it was very simple. I've kept the poaching liquid because it will make a really nice stock or soup or something. So it's yeah, I was pleased with that. Vicky was here on Tuesday as well. um I was intending to do the sort through in the middle bedroom with her, but I did start, and after about 15 minutes I'd had enough. I couldn't do any more. So that'll have to wait until next time. But she was good because we went out to pick up my prescription, and then met these people and sat and had a drink with them in the square. So I rung her and said, we won't be back, whatever. So she sent me a message telling me where she'd left the key, and she went, Mark had hung washing out in the morning, and she went, your washing's on the bed, don't forget to put it away, which is what she says to her husband and her daughter. The washing's on your bed, don't make sure you put it away. And she said that to us. So she brought the washing in because the weather forecast was gonna, I think we were gonna, and we did have rain. We didn't have a storm, but we had rain. So that was nice that she just sort of went out and did that without being asked. Otherwise, that was going to be a Mark job when he came in. We got art this afternoon. Oh, you've seen what I'm doing. I shall finish that today. Um, and that's it. So that's quite a catch up, really. I donated this month's YouTube earnings, not all of them, because obviously I pay cotistation on them, but I have donated money to Luca, who is, they have done a GoFundMe to pay for his surgery in Switzerland for him, his CSF. He's got a leak, a cerebral spinal leak, fluid leak. I hummed and hawed because they launched the GoFundMe yesterday, and it just absolutely exceeded what they were asking for within an hour, which was really lovely. And people love them, and I just, I don't think I love them, but I really enjoy being with them, watching them and their life. And I just thought, well, I want, even though their GoFundMe has gone way over, I think it's now no, it's nearly 100,000 when I donated, and they were only asking for 20. So because they closed it down and they went, thank you, we've got, thank you so much, and we closed it, and people were saying, well, no, we want to donate. So they've got the money to pay for his surgery, plenty of money to pay for their accommodation up there, and anything else, and anything else. So I'm really pleased. So that's where my charitable donation went, from my YouTube earnings this month. I thought I'd tell you. Okay, so I'm going now to carry on farming and yeah, that. Okay, thanks for watching, and well, heaven knows when I'll see you again.